Hello, welcome to Jason Kevin Experience Live. Today, like I said before, I'm doing a weekly live, just trying to figure it out. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Jason Cavness. I'm CEO founder of CavnessHR. Also, host of Jason Kevin Experience, where I talk to interesting people, entrepreneurs, other people. I've had U.S. Olympians on here, painters, Miro Bellevue. There's a host of different people on here. Right now, I'm just checking to make sure this is showing live everywhere. And looks like it is so far anyway. Let me check LinkedIn. Yeah, for some reason it hasn't been shown on LinkedIn recently. I don't know why. So, oh, that's good. So today, just gonna go over a few things. The main intent today is to do a demo of CavnessHR. So, also before I get started, the Jason Kevin Experience is sponsored by Solid Labs. Solid Labs provides software development from anywhere from startups to enterprise level companies. They can provide a simple MVP for you to something complex using AI, deep tech, Internet of Things. And they do this at around 70% of the cost or 32% faster. For more info, just click on the QR code on the upper left. So let me share my screen. All right. So go to the website, CavnessHR. I'll do a quick demo. And we provide HR companies with 49 or fewer people by providing an AI-powered platform that we're still building out. We're still working on that, and combining it with a actual HR business partner. So how it works: you come here to the website, you log in. You log in as a company representative. Here, for those who don't know, if you go to addy.io, you can get like free emails. I'm on the free account. I think the limit is 10 free emails. I'm not really sure. So click on the employer. We'll name Water. Water's the name of the company. We'll take Water. Then come here, copy and paste the email I got from addy.io. Make up a random password. All right, then go to the email. Click on the link that's sent to you. Close this out. Come back here. No, come here and log in. Okay, so here's the dashboard. Needs a lot of work, obviously, but I'm gonna do one thing real fast. I want to make sure that the screen is showing on the live, because the last time I did this well, I went to the whole demo and wasn't showing the live. So, okay, so it's showing. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the dashboard. Needs a lot of work. You'll come here, click next, and what you do first. So we do HR based on location, industry of your company, right? So, example, we send you a set of questions to answer that you fill out with either by yourself or with help from us. And for example, the questions in Seattle are different from the questions in Denver, or different from the questions in Memphis or any other town, right? So these questions here are based on Seattle. I'm not going to answer these, per se, but your company name, your name. I just put some random stuff in here. You can edit the welcome message to whatever you wanted to say. Or not say. Address of the company. They're different questions you'll need to answer. These questions are going to help populate the employee handbook and your HR policies. Like I said, these are not real answers. I'm just putting some stuff in here. Um, if when your company signs up, you'll walk through this with your person who's your HR business partner with you. All right, then you're gonna click generate, and this is gonna and so this is making up like a 25 to 35 page employee handbook depending on your location, right? So it's gonna take a few seconds. So it's pulling information from the Department of Labor, EOC, different organizations, right? And so the AI platform is not built out yet. We're building it now, but eventually, another thing we're gonna add it here too, like for example, where's it at? So vacation days. How many days vacation days you're gonna give, right? And suppose you part of the answer in the future would be, how many people you have, how much revenue you have, and we tell the average based on that, right? So you'll come here, signature settings, do your signature, go back to document library, you'll assign your employee handbook, and of course, you would actually read their employee handbook, make sure there's everything that you want to be in there or not to be in there, and we'll do that with you. And so, and then sign HR policies. So one thing that's different about us, for example, suppose you have an HR consultant do your employee handbook, they might charge you $1,000 right today. And let's suppose 3 months from now something changes. Well, they're going to charge you another $1,000. With us, everything's included in our price. Okay, so we'll click on employee handbook. Take a second to come up. And of course, if the UI UX needs to be improved, so like here's like the introduction memo or letter, or right here. See, we'll change the word thanks. So most HR stuff is like so-called boilerplate. 85% is not going to change ever, right? The EL policy, stuff like that, like workplace conduct. Let me see. I'll make sure that this got signed. Yeah, here the little signature here. Of course, it needs to be darker, but it did sign right here. So that's that right there. Then let's look at one of the let's look at paid holidays as for that. Okay. So I don't think I filled that one out. So that's a bad example. But if I would have filled it out on the questionnaire, all the holidays would have been listed here. So at will employment, we'll check on that one. So basically boilerplate. And of course, this would be like the company name, the address, all that kind of stuff here. So then let's go to employee management. Here you can add employees. So we'll add a new employee. We'll make his name, I don't know, Glass. Go back to this part right here. We'll make him a janitor. I think I did that wrong. Glass. Okay. Add him. Okay. All right. So gotta do. So that's a bug that we have right here for some reason. So let me get rid of the bug. Actually, it's a better way to do it than this, but so let me come back in here, sign in again. Okay, so go back to employment management. Okay, so you can generate an offer letter, fill the stuff out. Actually, his name was something. I don't remember. His name was something else. I forgot that quick what his name was. Oh, Glass. Totally made up. Then you fill all this information out. I'll leave most of it blank. And of course, if you did this for real, it'd be a lot more, detailed. So generate. So we'll come back here to employment management. And right here we have a little message board you can use. So here it's popped up. If you click on offer letter here, so that's not so I don't know what's happening there. Keep on getting these bugs for some reason. So we'll sign this. And not signed by employee, so we can send a reminder later on. Go back to document library, come back to employment management. And obviously this should be popping up right now, but it's taking a little bit. We're still working through this. We're still working through some things. So I'm gonna sign out of here and sign in as an employee. So we got back to the website. This time pull an employee account. Put in a generic password. So go back to the email. So my plan is like do these lives once a week with a demo, and of course, the plan is the more we build this out, the better the demo is. So now we're going to sign as an employee of the that the company representative just added on. Okay, so I'm doing something wrong. Okay, so I have to do this. I have to do this all over again. I messed something up. So employee, big name. And just to be safe, I'll create another alias. So it should work this time. If I can tap right. Okay. So redo the email certification thing again. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Hold on. So this is kind of frustrating, actually. Hmm. Okay. Actually, let me close this out. Let's start from the beginning. So just to be safe, I'll come here and start another one. So let me delete this one. We delete this one. All right. So come here, put in the email, do the password again. And obviously, it would be nice if this was like a perfect demo, but it's not perfect being at startups are not perfect, right? So, okay. So now let me try to sign this way, sign in this way. So I have no idea what's going on with this right now. So let me try this real fast. Let me go back as a company owner and see if that works. So this is probably the most discombobulated demo you've ever seen. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna just start this all over again, right? So let me get 3 new emails. One for the company owner. One for a new employee. And then one for a contractor. Okay. So let me come here. Let me clear out these cookies before we get started, just in case. All right, so come here, start again. Like I said, probably most discombobulated and jacked up demo you've been to, but yeah, gotta work through this. So click on company representative. Um, make the company name Hat. First name Lee John, and of course I probably won't remember this. Okay. Go back to email for the email verification. Click on this when it comes up, of course. All right. All right, so the same thing all over again. Here's the dashboard. I'm just rounding put some information in here. Like I said, when you do this for real, you'll either do it by yourself or we'll help you fill the stuff out and to answer all your questions. And obviously, we can't make decisions for you. That's the CEO, the small business owner's job, but we can make recommendations and like show you the pros and cons of what your decision is going to be. Click generate. So it usually takes like a minute for this to build out. I think that's the right phrase, build it out. And so what I'm showing you this right now is what I'm calling it like MVP minus MVP. We have a long way to go. We're probably like, where I see this being at, we're probably maybe 10% built out. So right now we're looking for customers and users and also investors for CavnessHR. And so for pricing right now, we're still figuring out pricing, but we do have a free version for companies with 10 or less people. With that, you'll get the employee handbook, HR policies. And then if you want anything else to be $59 a month. For 1 to 10 people, it's $99 a month. 20 to 34 is $199, and 35 to 49 is $199 a month. And that's for the whole group of people, not per person, right? So come back here, signature settings. Do a little signature. Back to document library. Sign the employee handbook. And of course, before you sign it, you'd go through with us, make sure everything's in that you want. And, we can obviously add stuff in there, delete stuff out. So depending on your location, employee handbook can be anywhere from 25 to 35 pages. And you can have anywhere from like maybe 15 to all the way to unlimited HR policies, right? Can you add as many policies as you want? Come here to employee handbook, click on this. Also, all this is going up. Just a reminder, we're being sponsored by Salo Labs. We're partnering with Salo Labs as they help non-tech founders get the product market fit faster by building out affordable MVPs. So click employee handbook again. So same thing, just want to make sure that got signed again. And of course, one thing we got to, lack of a better term, pretty this up, so this would be like, it'd have you like your branding, your, colors and all that kind of stuff. So I did sign right here. So I can close that out, go to at will employment. Like I said, this would have your address or any information you wanted. And so so this sign here, and same thing, I explain when I go to employees. So let me close this out. Go to employment management, add new. And what's the name? For those of you know what Buffalo Trace is, I'm looking up all of it right now. So employee email. Make him a janitor again. So add Mr. Buffalo Trace. And so in the future, obviously, you want this to everything like pop up instantly. But it's going to take a couple seconds. Also, if, like I said, I hosted Jason Cavness Experience, talked to a lot of interesting people. So if you're in Seattle area and you want to be on the podcast, let me know. I don't believe in podcast stats because I don't think they're reliable. They're all over the place. For example, Apple has their stats, Spotify has their stats, Pocket Cast has their stats, iHeartRadio, they're all like out. There's like the one, as far as I know, there's like the one platform for stats where your host on has their stats, but none of them counts what you might have on social media or on YouTube, right? But if you're an entrepreneur, interesting person, and want to get your story out, let me know. But like I said about stats, I have a top 5% podcast, top 100 tech podcast, and and then this might be too information to share, but like I figure the last 90 days across social media and everywhere, I get like 20,000 views on my podcast for clips or different things, right? So definitely not Joe Rogan, but definitely not a beginner either. And one thing I'm proud of, every guest I have says have a great time. Um, for this week's podcast is by Andrew McMasters. So make sure you check him out. Actually, let me pull up Andrew real fast. So me and Andrew had a really good talk. About a company improv mindset. He recently wrote a book. Let me go to his website. Yeah, so his book is Listening Without Agenda. Listening Without Agenda. You should check it out. So here's a podcast. He actually has it on his website, right? So yeah, if you're interested in being on the podcast, just let me know. So sorry about that. I got distracted. That's how my mind works. Okay, so generate offer letter. Like again, this is just made up stuff. Of course, I forgot what name of the company. I'll leave the rest of this blank. Let me put this in here. Put my name. Click generate. For some reason, this comes up. I don't know why. Because if you come back here to deployment management, click on here. So it comes up. So offer letter. That comes up for some reason, even though it got fixed. So you're gonna sign it. And while we're here, I'm also gonna add a contractor. So I can see how that works. Contractor, for those of you who don't know, Frank August, it's a very, very good bourbon. So make sure you check it out. I'm not getting paid for that. Just make my contractor, I guess. So add that. All right. And so we won't do Frank August yet, but Frank August, you're gonna have to, Frank August, when you have a contractor, so for those you know, the big difference between employees and contractors. Employees you have to pay like benefits, taxes, from the Social Security, stuff like that, right? Or the contractors, they do all of them themselves. Also, with the employees, they have to prove they can work in the United States. That's part of the online process, which we'll go over in a minute with the employee. But the contractor, they don't have to prove to you they work in the United States, right? They have to provide a 1099, W-9, but it's up to them to prove to the government they can work in the United States, right? So totally different requirements, right? But you still need to keep track of it, right? So I'm gonna sign out over here. and I'm gonna make an account as an employee. This guy's name was Buffalo Trace, if I remember correctly. Oh man, the company's name was I don't remember. I could just put Glass. Maybe that's what messed it up the last time. I didn't have the right company name, which I don't think that really matters. Of course, I could be wrong. Employee. Put in this generic password. Okay, that seems like that one worked. All right, now I'm gonna sign in as that employee. And all this stuff I'm doing, like, so if you sign up for this stuff, the HR business partner we assigned to you will do all this for you. So not, I mean, obviously you could do it if you want to by yourself. That can be right. Okay, I guess it is right. I mean, you could do this all by yourself, or you can let us do it. Us doing this included in the price. Okay, so it worked that time. Okay, so I'm in as an employee. So you come here, you're gonna edit this information as an employee. Same thing with the emergency details. And of course, you need to make this look better looking, right? Signature settings, you're gonna put in your signature. So come into the document library. So you would open up your offer letter, read it, make sure it's how you want. Of course, this is generic, and this needs a lot more information on it. So you'll sign your offer letter. So next pops up employee handbook. So employee, you'd open up, read it. I mean, and you'd ask any questions to the CEO, the small business owner, or to the HR business partner that CavnessHR provides for you. And so next pops up the HR policies. Of course, the person, hopefully they read through them. Also, an employee handbook, even though it's one click, and that's one reason we have to add instructions to have to tell them to open up the employee handbook. So they'll sign the employee handbook. They'll also sign a form or saying to understand the sexual harassment policy, one saying to understand the non-harassment policy, and one saying they read and understood the employee handbook, right? All right, so then for this right here, this is the I-9 stuff, right? So if you come to I-9, and the plan is to have all this internal platform right now. It's kind of a manual process. So if you click on I-9, you're gonna have to, and this is where we have to walk the employee through the process. So right now you're gonna have to take the I-9 form and download it onto your desktop and fill everything out. And also here's like the I-9 instructions. Also, there's actually a brand new I-9 form that recently got put out after, and you go over later on, or maybe I just do a separate live. So you download the instructions, and then there's several ways to let people know you can work in the United States. Right, one is like a List A doc. That's usually like a passport, right? Or you can like List B doc. It's a ID card, and List C is like Social Security card. So either A or B and C, right? So we go to List A. So that's not right. So if you click List A, it's supposed to have all the documents you can pull up, but that's not working for some reason. Let me go here. Yeah, that's not working. But what happens? You'll come here, upload. You can upload any document. Well, so if you're gonna use a passport, you'd upload your front and back of your passport. But we'll just upload this document right here. So check. And so the actually let me do this. Let me see if this works. So this might work this time. So close that out. So I'm gonna sign out of this. And I'll go back in as the company owner. And feel free to reach out to me if you want like a one-on-one demo. All right, so go to employment management, Buffalo Trace. So you say sign this, and then so you'll go. So and actually we'll do this for you at CavnessHR. We'll verify everything for you. And so let's pretend this is a passport. We look at it, make sure it's not expired, make sure it matches, all that kind of stuff. Also, we use a thing called E-Verify. It's a government source that helps you like do this stuff too, like as a backup plan. And so we'll say that's good. So we'll verify it. Let's go to I-9 form. So that didn't save. So that's why you have to upload it to your desktop. But we'll pretend that, you know, actually we'll send a reminder to him, right? And so let me pull this up. Let's suppose it was filled out correctly. Because what happens now is like we'll walk the employee through and like upload this to the computer, fill it out, and upload it back to the platform. But the plan is to have everything internal to the CavnessHR platform. They fill all this stuff out. Like if it was a passport, they fill out list A, all this information. And what the small business owner CavnessHR has to do is come to, where is it at? The verification part on here. Which for some reason I can't find. But there's a part in here for you to re-verify it, to verify, right? So that's basically it for the employee. Think what else? Yeah. So next I'll go to, so next I'll sign out of this and go to the contractor. Like I said, I know this is like pretty discombobulated. This is really not a smooth demo. But we're still working through the kinks, so to speak, and all that kind of stuff. So come to the contractor, put in this person's fake email. All right. So submitted his information. Go back to the email. Forget that. Click on the email verification link. All right, so now sign in as the contractor so I can show you how that works. Like all this is I mean, I hate to say it's pretty simple since I do this for a living, but it's not rocket science, right? You're not curing cancer, nothing like that. All right, same thing here. The person can do these emails. Come to document library. 1099. And so the contractor will just upload their 1099 and the W-9, and then you will look at it, right? So kind of more simple than the employee. So I'm gonna sign out here. I'm actually gonna go to the information from the demo I did like 10 days ago. So this is a company demo I did like 10 days ago. I want to just pull it up to see if anything changed. Everything should still be the same. So go to the document library, go to the employee handbook. I just want to make sure like the signature didn't drop off or something, right? So that company that we made up. So yeah, signatures are still there. Cool. So right now, like I said, we can do employee handbooks, HR policies, onboarding, contracts, employees, also provide HR advice. I mean, HR advice can cover a whole lot of things, right? It could cover, I don't know, how to fire someone, or like one example, and this actually happened a while ago. Um, one of our companies had like a contractor doing social media. Actually, I'll tell the story another time. So let me close out of here. So like I said, if you have any questions or anything, reach out to me, so I can do an in-person demo for you. Think about what else I want to go. What else do I want to do today? Man, 42 minutes. I didn't realize I was talking that long. All right. So I think another thing I want to do too is like go over my pitch deck. So let me share my screen again. Yeah. Just want to make sure this is showing. So I mean, one thing that's funny. Okay, there it goes. It always said like when you do a live, when you say something, it takes like 5 to 10 seconds for it to actually come up somewhere else, right? That delay, right? So actually, I haven't gone to my pitch deck for a while, but I'm starting to have like investor meetings with people. So, and plus, it's good. And I just want to put this out in the universe, so to speak, right? So, also have well, does it have notes on it? No, this one doesn't have notes. Some of it does, some of it doesn't, right? So CavnessHR, the future of AI-powered HR solutions. We're a veteran-owned company that saves small business time and money on HR. For those, I mean, I'm sure you know, but I'm a retired U.S. Army officer, did 25 years in the Army, and I actually did HR in the Army. So our team, myself, I'm an INFJ retired U.S. Army officer. I've been recognized as being the best at many positions. One thing I'm really proud of, people that have worked for me have been recognized as being the best. I have 30 years HR experience. I have a master's in HR, human relations, but it's HR, and 10 years experience with startups, and I have a pretty decent sized network. And so with this deck, this is a deck I would actually email to someone or send out. If I was like doing a pitch competition or pitch in person, like for this slide, I would not have all this verbiage on here, right? I pretty much have it memorized. And so these are four software developers out of Vietnam. One thing I think we can bring to the table is I'm able to build this out at 70% cheaper and 30% faster. So people investing, I give you bigger bang for the buck, so to speak, right? This is like our snapshot where small business lose their time and money on HR. Also, currently there's no HR platform focused on the future of HR, right? It's all focused on the past. Solution, we're building an AI-powered platform, also giving access to an actual dedicated HR business partner. I'll do a comparison to other companies later. Just for U.S. HR consulting, the TAM's $23.9 billion, and global tech is like $81 billion, global HR tech. Small amount of revenue, 51,000, not really thing. Probably this might be a red flag to a lot of people. But we currently don't have any paying customers. But we've had 20 past paying customers, learned a lot of lessons. We've had 80 beta testers, and we have 29 letters of intent. So with the past paying customers, one of the mistakes I made was focusing too much on early stage startups, right? And all of them are no longer in business, right? So I'm making the switch now, hopefully not too late, to actual what I call small businesses, right? But we're also like doing stuff with still tech startups too. Um, so Anna, she has a small business. She's growing fast, but not fast enough to bring on HR, right? But she knows she needs HR to help her out, right? But she can't afford an internal HR person because that's too much money. I know a person like me is like 80,000 to 120,000 or more, depending on where you're at, plus benefits. She tried an outsource HR company, like one of the ones like ADP or Trying Xperity, and quickly learned that they're basically horrible, like horrible customer service, horrible reply times. They were not for her. By the time they got back with her, she had figured out her own. And you have the HR consultants. So no disrespect to HR consultants, there are a few good ones out there, but that's the one who's I really want to put out business, right? HR consultants. Because majority of them overcharging the price and delivering value. For example, suppose I'm a regular HR consultant, and you hired me, right? And I'll charge you anywhere from $100 to $500 an hour, depending on where I'm at, where you're at, where we're at, and my experience, right? But we're saying you're gonna pay me $300 an hour. So I go to your place of business, I look around, and I say, hey, small business owner, you need X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. And you're probably gonna say, hey, Jason, like I already knew this. Like that's why I hired you. When can you start like producing stuff? And I'll be like, oh no, I don't produce anything. No, I consult you, right? So a small business owner to me makes no sense to pay these HR consultants like $300 an hour, and they do no work, right? Also, probably worse than any of those, what I call ad hoc HR. So with that, suppose you have a bookkeeper. Bookkeeper's doing a great job. So you tell the bookkeeper, hey, you're doing such a great job, you're now going to do HR too, which is lose-lose. Because instead of that person doing 100% bookkeeping, it's now, we'll say 70% bookkeeping, 30% HR, and bookkeeping is going to go down. They have no idea how to do HR, so that's an even worse, right? And also, there's nothing out there for the future work, right? So a lot of companies now, they're hiring people in the States as employees, as contractors. They're bringing on freelancers from different locations. And so we want to build something that's like the HR platform for the future work to cover all that stuff, right? And also, other things Anna is frustrated with, lack of affordable HR tools, a lot of compliance challenges. Compliance challenges can change on a daily basis. And of course, there's like I'll just use the Department of Labor, the Federal Department of Labor, your State Department of Labor. Most cities have that, and it really will track all that for you, right? And lack of AI-driven HR insights. Like I said, with the questionnaire, one thing we're going to add in the future is like for the one question, it's like how many days you're going to give off a vacation, right? Part of it in the future would be you put in like, I have a company in Denver with 20 people making $25 million a year and some other details, right? And then we'll pull from different sources, and it will come out where say, based on this information, the average for vacation days across the United States, or it could be like your local area, or whatever the case may be, is like 35 days a year, right? And if you only put 7, we'd say, okay, put whatever you want, but just to know if you only put 7 days, you're putting yourself as a disadvantage as far as recruiting and retaining talent, right? Future work. I know there's a big thing, future work, return to office. Personally, my prediction is like it's gonna be a combination. Maybe go to work in person 2 days a week, where everyone goes to work 2 days a week in like same place, same time, for like brainstorming, team building. Other days be remote, but of course I could be wrong. Excuse me. But these are the stats. This is just for U.S. So the stats for U.S. and the numbers are not going to match because like some people do all these. And right now, there's no way for Anna to handle all this, like keep track of all this. So the AI and machine learning data science, what we want to do, like basically like pull information from all these resources. Industry data could be, Equal Opportunity Commission, OSHA, different things. So just pulling different information from everywhere we're using AI. And plan is I build out our own AI. Like we don't want to be on top of ChatGPT or Notebook LM, because what if they raise the prices or they restrict access? We want to build our own. which is going to take this longer to build out. How we deliver the solution. So we're going to deliver based on location and industry. Like I said, the main aspect is the questions, right? So the question will be different in Seattle versus Denver versus different places. Provide your own dedicated HR business partner. Companies like ADP, TriNet, other ones, they do provide you an HR business partner, but like you might call on Monday, talk to Jason. Call on Thursday, talk to Susan. You know, each time it's gonna be a different person. With us, it'll be the same person each time. And we're gonna do a mobile first approach because everyone's using the cell phones now. Actually, everyone's been using a cell phone for a long time. Right now, we think there's an opportunity to disrupt how HR is delivered to small business. Right now, it's delivered through outdated and costly methods, which don't do anyone any good. And we want to use a mobile first AI platform. Also, right now, HR is really deliver high touch points, high interactions. Like, you know, obviously, HR consultant, the more they interact with you, the more they can charge you. We can provide great HR with low touch points, low interactions. Some barriers, some things that might keep us from succeeding. A lot of small business owners do prefer the old ways of doing HR. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of people still use like, you know, Excel spreadsheets or pencil and pens, right? And there's a lot of competitions, like literally tens of thousands of HR companies and small business and HR consultants. So competitive landscape, this comparison with us and Gusto and Bambi. So Gusto is more of a payroll company, but people always bring them up. Bambi, who's like I want to put HR consultants out of business, but I consider Bambi our number one competitor. They're actually a decent company. So this is a quick comparison. Right now for payroll, we have a partnership with Every Payroll, do a white label with them. It'd be like CavnessHR Payroll powered by Every. So these are the things that we have coming up. So competitive advantage would be mobile first, AI driven. We're on the AWS architecture and a lower cost than most traditional HR solutions. Traction is like kind of different, you know, like 20 past paying customers. Some will say that's bad, some will say it's good. So I think that proves we've like learned a lot of lessons. Also, like I said, with our branding and background on social media, I think that should make it easier to go to market faster. CAC is like our best guesstimate, you know. LTV, we think is $9,000. CAC is $699. Cost expenses. So here's the revenue model right now. This is like initial model, right? It's going to go up later on. Of course, we can work with you if you're one of the first customers. Here's the TAM and the TAM for US Consulting and TAM for Global HR Tech. So two different TAMs. So far, we launched an MVP. Actually, I call it MVP minus. Probably 10, 15, 20% of what I wanted to be at. Some early traction. Future folks, you know, got to get it, paying customers, continue to refine the GTM and different things. Also, HR analytics, we need to add HR analytics to that. Been to quite a few programs in the past. And actually, if I had this in the Dover, I probably went to as many of these, but learned some from all of these, and each one is able to progress the company further. And so that's the CavnessHR deck. Go to comments. So let me go to my email real fast. See anything I want to share on there. So like I said, actually, I can probably share the screen too, so you can see it. So right here, the Immigration Service USCIS just published a new version of I-Form I-9. And usually you can use the old one for a while. Yeah, so the old version is good actually until when? Until 2027. So I don't know why they put this out. So I'm really not sure what the changes are or not. So maybe I do a live. Actually, I'll probably do a live on that later on, what the changes are. Let me go to some other stuff. So, anything I want to go over? So I get Google alerts for like small business HR. So nothing there. Let me go to this next one. Stuff about tariffs. Small business owners still struggle to fill job openings. That's always the case since I can remember. Businesses say there's not enough talent out there. People who qualify saying, they're not being reached out to. So that's always a disconnect. Um, One thing about that, it doesn't matter like how good or bad the economy, it's always hard to find a job. So this is interesting. U.S. population estimates by age and sex. I know this is kind of off topic, but I just thought this was interesting. So yeah, right now we have like almost 335 million people. 70%. Yeah, this is pretty decent information right here. Actually, I'm gonna put this on my desktop. Maybe I can use that later. Let me go back to my emails. So I think I already went over this one. PO. So we're not a PO. PO is more like Asperity or ADP. We actually think those are like bad things. I mean, if you just Google ADP customer service, you can see for yourself. Um, I don't believe this is true. Small businesses are not turning to POs for cost-effective and scalable HR solutions. Actually, I think if you like put this into like a ChatGPT or do Google, you see that I think it'll show they're actually running away from PEOs. And so here, so I don't know if you remember, but when I was going through the demo, I put that little message in chat. So I get an email. I also get a notification on my phone. So here it says, "Hello, how are you, Miss Chat?" So I get like instant notification when I get a chat. Um, Here's my so I'm streaming on Kick. As you see, it's a little second delay. So I'll close out this right here. See what else do I want to cover today? Also, oh yeah. Also in Seattle, there's a big tech event every year called Seattle Tech Week. I'm hosting an event for that. So Seattle Tech Week is July 28th to August 1st, a Monday through Friday. I'm still trying to lock in the venue. I'm either going to use. I have a friend, Natasha. She opened up a bar here in Pioneer Square, really big. So I'm either going to use that place or um, the Seattle Chamber of Commerce or the World Trade Center here in downtown. I also have some other places I'm looking at. I still need to figure this out, but what I'm looking at doing is like doing a showcase to let 5 to 10 startups like do product demos and then do a panel after that. But I'm still trying to lock it in. I'm also looking for sponsors for that. So you're interested in being a sponsor or want to be involved in Seattle Tech Week, let me know. Let me see what else. So last week I helped David Robochar of Black Muse uh, with his pitch competition. So basically, there's like 15 kids, middle school kids, did a pitch competition of the games. So pretty impressive. These young kids like built out games and displayed them. So I was able to be a judge there. Pretty good turnout. very talented. So this is David right here, and this is Joseph K. Spared, another one of the judges. I don't think I have my picture in here. Also today, and that's also probably too late for today, but if I can find it. So also today, David's doing this workshop, but it's too late for that. I think what else? All right, sorry, let me. Actually, I didn't share my screen. Okay. Trying to think what else I could show you. I think that might be it for right now. Let me say no. I'm looking for customers, users for the demo. Actually, let me share my screen again so I can show this to you. So this is the pitch event I was a judge at on Saturday. So basically, David does a quarterly pitch event for middle school students based on gaming. So 15 kids, not every kid, was the best of the best, but they all got out there and they spoke as best they could. Probably 7 of them actually had like games to display, right? So actually this kid actually won second place, I think. Let me see. Mobile Survival was a good one. This guy has a really good game built out. This kid was really good too. So a lot of young talents. Here's like an example in the game. So this guy here, I wish I could remember his name. He actually won first place, right? But he's been building games for a little bit. Like he thinks at 11, he's been building games like 2 or 3 years. Here's a crowd. There's David. So David's company is called Black Muse, ARVR. So let me close this out. Let me see what I want to do with this. I'll do that next time. One thing I want to do in the future, so I get all these emails, just like different newsletters and stuff. So I kind of like do a commentary, but we'll probably won't do that. Maybe I'll just do one. What's this? The deep view. So almost copyright defense. Yeah, maybe I'll do that later. So let me pull something else up. Let me pull up Solid Labs. Let me pull up the portfolio so I can run through that with you. So they help, Solid Labs helps non-tech founders turn ideas by building high quality MVPs. They have 10 years experience doing this. And they are a Vietnam-based software development company, but some reasons to do business, they're like have expanding talent pool, cost efficiency, and they do business around the world. They can do MVP development, products and solutions, software solutions. They can do, so this is based on just non-tech founders, but they can do everything A to Z, right? So let me close out of this. So I think I'm gonna close this out. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do this once a week. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm thinking Thursday might be the best time for me to do this, but maybe early in the morning for this, right? So, as a reminder, we're sponsored by Solid Labs. They help non-tech founders, get the product market fit faster. They can also do it at 70% of the cost and 32% faster. And they're focused on non-tech founders for the United States, but they can do anything from A to Z, plenty of software development expertise. Here at CavnessHR, we're looking to continue to build out a platform and bring on more customers. We do HR for companies with 49 or fewer people. I think that should be about it. So some exciting things going on. Seattle Tech Week. Here in Seattle, the weather's getting a lot better. The sun's out, so that's a good thing. Also, if you want to be on the podcast, just reach out to me. Thanks for your